Hi, I'm Owen Casey Stevens, and this is the story of never being too old to chase birds. One of my beloved pets of the pat was a large, gray, long-haired, fluffy cat named Cortez. Cortez was a grump. He disliked most people. He loved me. He loved my wife. He loved our friend Carl, and one random workman named Alan, who he literally pined for, laying his head at the door when Alan left, and for weeks wanted Alan to return. Alan never came back. Um, and when Cortez was older, he was simply less active than he had been as a younger cat. He had a tendency to lay about and not jump up as high and not move around as much, which is fine. He was in retirement, not a problem. Um, but he could no longer get to his favorite spot on the windowsill to sniff the fresh air coming through the cracked open window. So one day, when he had been particularly listless and a little grumpy, and I personally think cat depressed, um, I propped our front door open by just about that much because Cortez was laying on a rolling office chair. And having propped the door open and blocked it so he couldn't possibly get out, I rolled the rolling chair over so that Cortez's face was right by the front door. There was a lovely fresh air coming in. I'd opened a window elsewhere so there was a cross breeze, and he put his little fluffy head up to it and sniffed and seemed quite pleased. And I went back to working on my computer elsewhere in the room. And things were fine for like half an hour. And then a small bird flew in through the window. Now, or the door. It cannot have been a very big bird because the door was cracked like this much at most. I wanted to make sure my cat could not get out. None of our cats. We had multiple ones. Its wingspan could not possibly have covered it, but it came bursting in, and Cortez, who had not moved at more than a slow amble for months or years at that point, looked up. His tail became much puffier than usual, and in his eyes I could see his brain cry out, "Once more for Valhalla!" And he went taking off after the bird. Now, we had a big, long living room and a hallway which went through a laundry room into the kitchen, which connected back to the living room. And the bird went firing down the hallway, and the cat went firing down the hallway. And then I heard some fluttering and screaming. I'm standing up, they're moving faster than I am. The bird comes screaming through the kitchen, the cat comes screaming through the kitchen. And the two of them go 3 or 4 times at full speed, jumping over tables and running across desks and knocking things over. And we had a pass-through window to get things from the kitchen to the living room without having to walk around everything. They fired through that a couple times. I'm afraid of what's going to happen if Cortez actually gets a hold of this thing because he doesn't like it when we change his wet cat food. He's not actually going to eat a bird, and it's probably not good for him at his age. So I'm opening the door, and I've got it fully wide open, and I'm hoping that I can catch the cat if he tries to chase it out. And after several runs where I'm beginning to think, do I need to get a bucket? Do I need to get a spray? The bird goes firing out of the living room, out through the front door, out into the yard and gone into the sky. And Cortez runs up to the chair that was still right there, the rolling office chair, puts his paws on one of the arms, meows out the window in complete Nordic victory, and then lay down and curled up and went back to sleep on the chair. This was really the last time Cortez went on a tear. He was a quite happy, fun, cuddly, quiet cat for quite some time after that. But that had been his last glorious battle, and he won. So I was pleased to know that Cortez was never too old to chase a bird. If you're the sort of person that likes these stories, you can support me making more of these videos at my Patreon. I will put a link to it down in the description. And if you want to support me in other ways, I currently have a project called 52 and 52. I'm an RPG game writer, and I will be producing 208 game products for 2020, which right now, as I put up this video, you can pre-order, and later you'll be able to buy normally. And I'll put that link down there too. So you may or may not have a way to be a cat that chases a bird for Valhalla, but if you look through the catalog, you'll see that maybe that'll be one of the options with these game products too. Thanks.